Right, good afternoon chaps, good morning if you're coming in the US, and good evening if you're in Asia. Just a quick US session update, just reviewing what's been going on in the Forex markets for the last few hours or so. Dollar continues to grind lower. Okay, we are now coming into the bottom area of the consolidation zone that or the trading zone that I've been talking about for a week or so, and it's just grinding lower and lower and lower with Trump concerns and so forth. But what's really dragging this lower at the moment, I think, is the fact that Merkel has just come out a couple of hours ago, and announced that she thinks the euro is too weak, which is obviously great for her because of the exports of German exports and so forth. But she's talking that the euro is too weak, and on the back of that, the euro has obviously caught a bid. Bearing in mind that the euro makes up 58% of the dollar index. I think it's 58%. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone. But it makes up a huge portion of the dollar index, and consequently, the dollar index has been grinding lower. Hi, Ray. Exams finally over. Okay, good stuff. Hi folks, hi Bacco. So the euro is star of the show at the moment, it's shot up higher, which has helped us on our causes this morning. Let's have a look at what's been going on in the euro. We had this trade from this morning. Actually, while I'm on this screen, let's just talk about the euro dollar itself. Okay, so the euro dollar now is pushing into these new highs. We're at 7-month highs now since the election, trading up to 12.37. Now, what I did here, I've been looking at it for a while. I look at this fib level from basically the lows of last week, which is basically brings you in around the 110. So this low here, this swing low here before we had the rally to the upside. So I've taken my level up to the highs of Friday, just drawing that fib level, and my entry level from this morning's webinar was, or stream I should say, was basically at 1160. Now it literally touched it to the dime. I mean, if you play back the video, the webinar, and if you doubt me, that is why would you want to do that. But 1160 was it turned on a dime at 1161. And has taken off to the upside. Now, of course, I didn't know at the time that Merkel was going to come out and start talking up the euro, I should say, or down the dollar. But it did turn on a dime at 1160. So if you take that level, which was a good entry level, not only the 61.8 retracement, but also looking left on the chart, it was the high from Thursday, provided some support. We are now targeting to the upside. For me, if you are inclined to get long the euro dollar, basically the next level is 1300, 1.13 I should say, 1.13, which is also the 1618 extension from this Fibonacci level, from the lows of Thursday to the highs of Friday. Okay, this consolidation area. So this is the consolidation area that I've drawn those fib levels from. The 1618 extension takes you bang into 113. So 113 is definitely the target on the upside. Hi Glenn. Hi Ray. Hi Midas G. Haven't spoken to you for a while. Don't normally stream at this time of the day, but I'm going to be scheduling this time of US stream if that suits people. If it doesn't, you can just mute me or turn me off. Tony's not streaming this week as well, so we're spreading out some streams as well. And I also think it's important to come in as the US comes in as well. Not that much is going on in the US at the moment. Today, or at the moment, but sometimes we have numbers on as well. We've got. That means, Jenny, you're going to have to set your alarm clock now for 3 times a day to hear me speak, which means you might suffer from some sleep deprivation. But you can always play me back if you can't tune in. So we're going to see. So we can see a retest of the 113 handle in euro dollar. Where do we enter now? Well, I think you've all gathered now by my streams over the last few months where I'm going to enter this I didn't enter in here at 11.61 because I had just taken a live order on stream in the Euro Oz. I wasn't going to just start loading up on the Euro on a Monday morning just off from the get-go. I was happy with my Euro Oz, so I didn't get into this one. So it's left the station without me, but I'm not worried about that because it's left the station. I just happened to be on another train, and it's actually the train I'm on is moving just as fast as well. So my entry in euro dollar now, for those that things I'm not in, would be back in at 112 sort of 20 area, 112.10 to 112.20. Okay, so that's about a 20 pip pullback. It's on the 1 hour. The ATR on the 1 hour is 17. So 17, 1.5 ATRs would be a 25 pip pullback from the highs. I like pullbacks of 1.5 times an ATR. So 1.5 ATR pullback gets me in at about the same level as this previous high from Friday. So 11, one spot at 1 to 11, up to 20 area for re-entry of that. Remember, this is intraday. You could you want to keep your stops reasonably tight on this type of entry. A 2-stop ATR is a 35 pip stop on the 1 hour. For a target of the 113 handle gives you about a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio on the euro dollar. I took the trade on the demo. Okay. Trading, well, you don't need to trade demo anymore. You can open up an account with AxiTrader and get a real live dollar account, $50 account. Very small account, but it's much better to trade a real money account than trade demo account. I know a lot of people test on demos, and that's fine, but it's a whole different life. A whole different game trading demo. Even if you're trading a $50 account, and you're not going to give up your day job by listening to me for half an hour 3 times a day. You're not going to give up your day job by trading a $50 trading account, but you're going to learn more from it when there's real money on the line. And gosh, it's free money anyway from AxiTrader, so why don't you do that? Anyway, there's a little plug. Didn't plan that one, but you mentioned demo, so I thought I'd put it on. You can have a free account on that. Shay baby. So that's the euro dollar, and it's just continued to go on higher. There's talks across the sort of analysts this morning about possible. Has the euro overshot itself? Well, who knows? It just keeps going, grinding higher and higher and higher. Remember, we said that about the Canadian dollar last week or a couple of weeks ago. It moved 700 points or so. So got to keep going with it. You can't stand in front of these freight trains, and you just have to do what you see on the charts and keep going. You remember, the trend is your friend. The bend at the end. You're going to get caught at the bend at the end, but follow the trend while you can. So this at the moment is the perfect technical analysis, technical traders playground. This is, pulling up, pull back into previous resistance, pull up, pull back into previous resistance, which is new support, and here we are again. So while this continues, I'm going to do exactly the same until the bend at the end. So that's where I am looking to continue the euro dollar. What we did do was a euro Oz trade. Okay, and foolishly I didn't have a profit target in at the time. So 2-to-1 profit target is still it's in there now. Here's my entry. So it's a 40 pip stop, 80 pip take profit target. Still running this to the downside. Aussie is still a pressurized currency. Okay, and if I wasn't long here now, getting in at this consolidation area. For those of you that missed the stream this morning, I know some of you took the trade this morning, so well done for you, even if it was on a demo. But this is still, it's still a buy zone for me. So if you're not in the trade, I'm not giving trade recommendations as such, but this is a buy zone for me. Okay, and you took this here. Two ATRs. This is a 15-minute chart on the consolidation. You go to the 1 hour. 1 hour is a 25 pip ATR. 1.5 ATRs or 2 tip ATR is a 50 pip stop for continuation to the upside. So you know these big momentum candles tendency have to stall off. These shake out a bit of profit takers for the continuation of that. You at the moment, you know, there's no real reason to stand in front of that train. Tomorrow we've got a whole bunch of PMI data coming out of Europe, which could lead, which could open up the way to more positive news coming out of Europe. So here we've got you've got German flash PMI, flash services PMI, all coming out of Europe, and French as well. That could pave the way for 113 against the dollar if we don't get there, and high on here. So let's just take a. Just want to take. I'm just going to take a fib level from here, which was the peak that held it for pretty much today before we just spiked through. Also the peak from last week down to this consolidation area. Okay, gives me my gives me my target on the upside. My initial target on the upside, if you want to shoot higher than a 2-to-1, would be 151.10. I have no problems moving my take profit targets. I don't move my stop loss targets, but I don't mind moving take profit targets at all. And I'll review, because I'm going for a bit of a higher risk reward on here. I'll review my stop loss at some point. I'm not moving it to break even at the moment. You know my view on moving stops to break even too quickly. You know the bias is still right. Just I'm not holding back on moving stops on anything other than the fact of my own personal analysis. I haven't read it in a book. Don't listen to me because of me. I've done my own analysis on my own trades over a quarter of a year last year, 3-month period. I looked at every one of my trades and the stops to break even. I'd have done better off by leaving them where they were and just forgetting about them. Windy out there, so I'm just moving that take profit to up there, which is the 1618 extension, which is 151.10. Okay, so that's my take profit target in the Euro Oz at the moment. Okay, let's have a look at I want to look at dollar CAD. Now we didn't. This line is in here from this morning. Dollar CAD. It was for a rolling over at this level, which we didn't get to, and now the CAD is still pushing on down upwards, and US dollar is under weaker pressure. Now remember, the US dollar has basically been pulled back down because of the euro strength at the moment, and the Canadian dollar is strong in its own right, which is basically tracking up the oil price. There's reports, of course, about the 9-month extension coming out of OPEC, non-OPEC. That's pretty much it, I think, in the market. But there's no need to stand in front of the oil markets and Canadian dollar at the moment until obviously we have that OPEC decision, which is on Wednesday. Now, naturally, because Mr. Trump, President Trump, was stoking up Iran yesterday. Stoking up the issues with Iran, then of course Iran come out now saying that they can increase their oil production up to $3 billion a barrel, or what have you, just to play the play the adversary. But that hasn't affected oil prices at the moment. Oil prices are still pushing high, and of course the Canadian dollar follows at the moment. So I wouldn't be standing in front of this at the moment. Why I want to pull that up this one is I think this has got potential, for a decent move to the downside. If we break the 135 handle and maintain the 135 below, let's just pull back up to the 4 hour, then back down to this consolidation area, the 2681 extension. I mean, okay, look at this here. Can I just again highlight this to you? I just want to increase the size on this. From the highs to the lows, I've taken the fib extension level out to the 1618 extension. First, she pulled you right in at 135.06, which respected it twice on the 4 hour chart, and now blipped through it. These 1618 extensions do hold some significance, guys, if you don't follow it. So my target on the dollar CAD, should that continue to the downside, certainly gives you another 100 pips to the downside. It comes in at 134.12. Okay, logical place to place stops in here for a good risk reward would be 60-70 pip stop. Okay, well above my conservative entry, which is in at 135.50. So you can take this up to 135.80 level. Gives you 70 pip stop for a 1.3 risk reward ratio for the test of that retest of the 2618 extension, which brings you in down here at 134.11. Another one I want to look at is the euro pound. So there's no real. I'm going off script here. Not that I have a script, but I'm going off. I'm swapping between screens, so apologise about that. But you get the general idea. Euro pound. This should be a blue line, of course, for an entry. Okay, so pound is under pressure this morning. We didn't initially start off with pressure, but we had some opinion polls out over the weekend with the announcement of the Conservative manifesto, which basically halved the sitting government, the Conservative government's lead in the polls by half. We also had Minister Davis, who is the Brexit minister, talking about walking away from talks altogether, in Brexit talks altogether, if the Europe don't budge on their $100 billion exit bill that they sort of penciled in, they're demanding. So, the pound's been under a bit of pressure at the moment on the back of this, although it doesn't materialise at the moment. Pound is now a weaker currency, and I think at the moment with the euro pushing ahead, this bias still continues to be to the upside. So my entry in euro pound is happily trading above now the 86 handle. So any pullbacks into 86.20, 25, 86.22 area. 86.17 to 25, basically that's the zone you want to be looking to get long here, euro pound, for continuation of that trend. And the 1618 extension gives me a target of 87.10. So 70 points to the upside in here. So that's where you want to target. You might not want to be, round numbers are appreciated, especially when it hasn't tested it for many moons back from where were we? March. So so you might see 87 respected. So you might want to move your take profit target in ahead of 87 handle. But the 1618 extension takes you in at 87.10, so 86.95, something like that, might give you a better chance of getting executed on the exit. Target to the upside, certainly. If you've got another 60 points or so to the upside, a 30 pip stop or 40 pip stop gives you a good risk reward below the 86 handle, and you can get a decent risk reward out of that. Euro. Right, New Zealand currency is holding its own here. Just looking at, someone's asking in the room, Yuan, Euro New Zealand. It's holding its own. $15-minute, 1 hour. I mean, the euro is stronger than a strong New Zealand, so that's reflected in. They both currencies are sort of have the long bias behind them, which is reflected in 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, not so much Friday, but 1, 2, 3 trading days today. Pretty much flat on the day. 116. Yeah, pretty much flat on the day. In fact, it's it's pretty flat at the moment. I mean, the bias is to the upside because the euro is stronger than the New Zealand, but both are strong. But it's not giving me the best opportunity. If you want to take it out to the longer term chart, chart is clearer. Obviously, New Zealand has had since the last RBNZ policy statement last month, or this couple of weeks ago. The New Zealand has been a pressurised currency, although it's regaining its momentum to the upside now. So bias to the upside, but not too committed about that one. I think if you're trading Forex markets, when you're trading strength against weakness, there are just maybe possibly better opportunities in there at the moment. This morning we had a flight, only didn't last very long. Obviously we had the Korean missile attacks over the weekend, so there was a flight to risk off. So what we saw this morning, we saw gold up, gold was trading up, and Japanese yen was trading up. Of course, all that's slightly reversed now, and the yen has been sold off as more risk goes on into the markets, and that's going to reflect in. Okay, so gold's actually still continues to push up. I think this just makes me think that the dollar yen is possibly an opportunity to get short dollar yen at the moment. Yen's been under pressure in the last couple of hours or so, but really, the flight to risk off is still there in the back of this market. Bond markets are up, yields are down, and gold's pushing up. So selling dollar yen. Selling dollar yen, still in this consolidation area. It's flatlining at the moment. If you want to take a binary trade, this is the 15-minute. Let's go out to the 1 hour. So I've graded this sort of like a trading zone. We're bang smack in the middle of it. All of you've often heard that flipping a coin and have a risk reward. Well, better than flipping a coin, go with momentum. If this is a binary trade, then selling dollar yen as we get into the resistance on the upside to 1200, the retest of 110.50, 75. It's a 50-50 trade, I think, in terms of where we are at this moment in time, but the bias certainly has to be with you to the downside, especially if we see more risk taken out of the market this week with Korea, and obviously we've got Trump as well. We've got Comey testifying as well. He's the ex-FBI, what have you. So you might see some risk coming out of the market. do look at the market. I mean, the stock market. I said this all week last week. The stock market. I mean, far from me to predict where the stock market is going, but boy, I mean, this is the daily stock market. Okay, this here where my crosshairs are. This is the Trump candle in the stock market. Stock market was trading 18,500 when Trump was elected into office. Okay, this is the Trump candle here, 18,500. So when he was elected into office, the Trump trade took hold, and the Trump trade took hold basically with with the inflation outlook and what he's going to do for his fiscal spending, his drawback of regulation. So the stock market is put on. Let's put this into perspective. Stock market is put on 2,600 points. And Trump has delivered, since he came in terms of all his promises in terms of fiscal spending, tax cuts and so forth, not a lot. He's got himself in a lot of trouble in various other areas. We've had members of the government being fired, we've had FBI being fired, we've had bans on Muslims, we've had now the word impeach basically being a Twitter word that's now sort of up there amongst other commonly used tweets. Not that I am a big tweeter, but and the stock market is still 2,000 points higher than where it was. If anything, I mean, if this is not a binary trade to the downside, I mean, are you going to see this market up 2,000 points to the upside? Or are you going to see this potentially roll over? I'm going to leave this one with you, but I just think, when you see the stock market up at here, if you're looking, could we have a snap move of 300 points to the upside or downside? I think the risk reward has to continue to be to the downside in here, especially if you see risk coming off the market, out of the market, gold pushing higher, dollar coming down, yields coming down, bond markets going up, stock markets potentially rolling over as well. So just keep an eye on the stock market every time. For me, I'm not. I do. I have this is benefiting me personally very well in terms of where my bigger, I don't day trade it, but I have a pension pot that I reevaluate every 6 months. So we've had a great run in terms of where that's worked out. But I mean, so I don't actually day trade this. But if I was, then I'll be nervous getting long here at any time. Right, I'll leave it there. Shay baby. Money management is pretty bad. Well, I'm not going to get on my high horse and start lecturing now about how to trade. But money management it's all about money management, psychology and strategy. It must be strategy, money management and then strategy. So, you've got to get your money management sorted out if you're going to make this long haul. You might have a great week, great month, but if you haven't got proper money management and in control of money management, then unfortunately you're not going to be here for the long haul. So you've got to sort that out. Stock market will crash soon. Thanks for your vote of confidence, Jenny. Soon in terms of another year. Yep. We'll see. If Comey this week, there's rumours this morning going around the wires that Comey is, sort of airing on the fact that he might be announcing that he felt under pressure by by Trump standing in his way of justice. Well, I mean, that is serious. This is you can't underestimate how this is. If he was bragging to the Russians how he just fired the FBI. He was a nut job. I mean, this could be pretty serious stuff, and Comey's not going to take this rolling over. So this is reflecting, of course, in the bond markets. It's reflecting in the dollar. Is it reflecting in the stock market at the moment? I don't know. don't think it is. Okay, I'll leave it there. Pound still languishing at the 130 handle. I think pound would be a little bit lower than here if it hadn't been for such a weak US dollar. So if the US dollar does turn around and start catching a bid, then you could see this roll back down to 129 easily. So do be careful of that. This is up here at the moment, I think, on the back of a weaker US dollar. Pound yen. I don't know if I covered pound yen. I'm long pound yen. I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't pull it up. Pound yen. Let's have a look at. Let's end up at pound yen. I was just talking about the pound, so we will wrap it up nicely by looking at pound yen. Okay, so I'm long pound yen. I beg your pardon. I'm short pound yen. I'm long the pound. I'm short pound against the dollar, against the yen. It's offside at the moment by a few pips. So I'm short here. Continuing weakness of the. This was looking quite nice this morning, as the yen was gaining strength. The problem with this, as I mentioned a moment ago, is that the yen is now becoming is getting some weakness in here at the moment. So I'm looking for this to continue to roll over. This is definitely the bias to the downside. So short pound yen. If you're not short, I mean, it's flatlining here at the moment on the 1 hour, so basically meandering around its moving average. But the but if I'm wrong on this, you can't be. That defines being wrong. 100 points on this trade defines being wrong. It's targeting 143.43. That target to the downside might be. We'll see how we get with this one. I mean, you could possibly move my take profit target out further on that one. Pound yen certainly to the bias is to the downside, and if you're not, then getting short where I am at the moment. For me, pound under pressure, only upward is at the moment because of dollar weakness. You could play this one. Any technical trader will look at this and say, this is the 1 hour. Okay. So we've had a push back up Thursday, Friday into this sell zone. I've got signal to the left of the chart, stored exactly there. Look at that, stored exactly there on Friday afternoon when I wasn't at my desk. Made a couple of attempts this morning. Failed to break Friday's highs. Pulled back down. Another rally to the upside. Failed to break previous high. Another pull back down. I'm ready for this to roll back over into profit. So I'm happily going to keep those two trades on. Short pound yen, long euro against the odds. Possibly looking at buying euro dollar with a pullback. Pound yen been short since Friday as well. Back over, well done. CPN investments. Do I frequently trade indices, FTSE, DAX, and S&P? No is the answer. Not. I trade, as I say, I trade some European and US stocks for a different investment model, but I don't trade these. I've got quite a few old mates in the city that I sort of get together with once every 6 months or so. We meet up in London and exchange ideas and what we're all doing, and generally it's just a bit of a drink up in some of the old watering holes that we used to frequent in the in our trading days on the floor. So we go around a few of the bars we used to hang out, but we're all getting a bit older now, so our drinking days are slightly shorter. Certainly the recollection of them is shorter anyway. Dollar yen, Glenn, is you can play back the webinar. Dollar yen, playing that to the downside. Yes, I think dollar yen is the bias to the downside. So I'm not going to go on that and then play back the video again, which you can do on the. I don't normally stream at this time of the day, so I'll just, for those of you who don't have exposure to me, because I normally stream at 8 a.m. London time, London wrap, now coming in midday as well. So I do cover this now and again, but just so you know what's going on in the room in terms of its functionality. You see Andrew Lockwood, that's me, that's live on now. If you want to catch up, you pop down here, and you can see all the streams that are coming up. Okay, so you see me there at, this is my local time. Of course, your time will be different depending on where you are in the world. Then Jason will be on in the Asian session, then me in the morning, and then me in the afternoon again tomorrow. Tony's off this week, which you may have noticed. So we're going to make it up with some extra streams with me, and I might continue it on anyway if I get the thumbs up. So you see the schedule here. But if you look back here, guys, you can always see where the recent streams are. You can watch now and play back these streams as well. Okay. And that's good. If you click on, of course, you can always follow me. If you want to follow any of my trade ideas, then just follow me when you click on my. You can click on my name down here, or Jason or Tony's, of course. It pulls up our screen. If you hit follow me, which you can follow here, then you get to follow us. And every time I put a trade idea out, you'll be highlighted to that as well. Here you can download the FX propulsion strategy if you haven't done so already, and of course you've got the trader contest and the user IDs in here as well. More functionality added to the room all the time, so make use of it. Any questions, just PM me or drop them in here. I'm here all day long, but obviously I don't have my eyes fixed on the chat room, but I'll keep an eye on it as much as I can. Bacco, playing with our emotions. You shouldn't let the market activity, Bacco, trade with your emotion, play with your emotions. You know, you set your trade, you fix your criteria, you place your order, put your stop in. It's going to do what it's got to do. You're going to have multiple losers over the years and multiple winners. I don't get involved in individual trades because it's just, well, I guess when you've done it for 30 years, you just sort of like, they become all sort of be oblivious to any individual one trade. You just put them in a course of analysis every month to make sure you're still making money out of this crazy and weird game that we do called Forex. Trader there, Mr. Hanim. Yep, same bias as me, breaking out to the upside. I don't know what all these lines are, but short 20, 30, 60 grand. But same bias to me to the upside, that's good. CAD Swiss short. Yep. CAD, you know, I don't know, standing in front of the CAD at the moment, it's a difficult one. You know, maybe a couple of days' time, possibly, but at the moment, you know, it's just grinding higher. What do we got here? Nicely presented trade idea from trader. Nugen short Aussie yen. What are these CCI crossovers, are they? I think they are. Yeah, that's my style. Setting into pullbacks on a bias that has weakness to the downside. Should I keep the ideas coming, folks? Thanks for that. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me, and you get a notification of any time we put in. I don't use volume gen key. Not really, no. Yeah, do hit the follow button, and then you can get to follow us when we're putting out trade ideas. Okay, thanks Tim and all, and I'll be back on in a few hours' time for the London market wrap. If you're not back on later, then do be mindful. We've got some FOMC people speaking as well. Remember, we've got a hike of in June. It's been fluctuating from 60 to 95%, and obviously they're going to give you some forward guidance on that for the June FOMC. So do pay particular attention to the speakers this afternoon. We've got who we got this afternoon. We've got Harker speaking, and Kashkari is speaking as well, and Johi speaking tomorrow as well. Good luck, guys. Trade safe.